Hello, welcome back. Today I have a new thing to show you. It's ink adjacent. I hope, at least it's an experiment that I hope is going to work. And for this we are going to be testing out an ink. This is called Whispers of Twilight by Ferris Wheel Press. It has this beautiful box with this gorgeous artwork on it. And on the label, it says that this is a purple with no sheen. It has silver shimmers and medium shading. This is a very pretty ink, and I wanted to swatch it for you today. But also, as we know with shimmer inks, I'm constantly having to shake the bottle. And this can be pretty annoying and time-consuming. So here is a beautiful bottle. And here is the shimmers that sink to the bottom. The other problem that I have is when I shake these up, usually it causes bubbles and foam to form on the top a little bit, and that can kind of get in the way of what I'm doing. So let me get the label back on there. There we go. Okay, so I was watching some videos on YouTube, you know, as you scroll and they recommend random videos. There's somebody who I've been watching for a while. I believe his channel is Nile Red, although I've seen Nile Green and Nile Blue, and I know one of them is a joke channel. But anyway, he has some fun sciencey things, and I was looking at it going, you know, I wonder if that would work for shimmer ink. So we're about to find out because I went and got this contraption. Here it is. And what this is, I think it's called a stir plate. What it does is you can put a container on it with liquid, and you put one of these little magnets in there. Let me see if I can get the camera to pick that up. And it'll spin and stir the liquid for you, so you don't have to stand there and stir for hours and hours. So my hope is that we can set this here and put this in there and turn this on, and it'll stir, and then that way when I do the swatch test, I won't have to keep shaking the bottle. So we're going to find out, and I'm going to open this hopefully without breaking it. There we go. That was on there pretty good. All right, so there's what the open bottle looks like. And this little tiny magnet has kind of an oval shape to it. We're going to just drop this into the bottle, and it's gone now. So we're going to put it right here on the X, and then I'm going to turn this on, and these magnets come in different sizes, so it's possible that this one is too small, but nope, it's mixing up. This looks really cool. And I can turn this dial to make it go faster or slower. Oh, that's too fast, it's gonna boil over. Okay, that was bad. All right, so far this seems to be working. Let me turn it off really quick. I'm just to check, I'm gonna put the cap back on. And yeah, so as you can see, the shimmers are no longer collected down at the bottom. So this seems to have worked. So this is fantastic. Okay, so this is really exciting because I was hoping this would work. I had no idea if it would, and this means I didn't waste some money. So that's always a plus. And now the only downside, of course, is getting the magnet out. Now I could take another magnet and drag it out up to the top and pull it out of there. But I think what I'll do is just, you know, leave this in my shimmer inks. That way each time I want to use one, I could just put it on here and stir it up real quick without having to look for the magnets and everything and cleaning them off in between. So that might be what I do. The magnets were really inexpensive, only a few cents each. So, and I got this on Amazon. And what I'll do is I'll put a link down below where you can get one of these. Hopefully they're still available. These were being sold around Black Friday for really cheap. So I'll see if I can find another inexpensive one and put a link on there for you in case you decide you want one. I do have an affiliate link with them, but you don't have to use that if you don't want to. So let's go ahead and test out this really pretty color. I'm just going to set this aside real quick. And we will get a swatch card first. And I'm going to turn this on and get this going to make sure the shimmers don't sink to the bottom. Probably, my guess is that you probably wouldn't want to leave this running for a long period of time. Otherwise, it might make the ink evaporate faster. I don't know. But I think just leaving it like this for a few seconds to get the shimmers dispersed is probably no issue. Oh wow, this got stuck. There we go. I need to be more careful. All right, let's see if this, there it goes. Yeah, this is a very pretty purple color. It's more muted. And since it has shading, we should be able to see some nice, you know, color variation a little bit, some whatever the shading offers. Let's see how it looks on the swatch card. And I will write the name on here, and then we will make the little swatches as well. We'll do the writing examples. All right, let's get this out of the way. And this is Whispers of Twilight. By Ferris Wheel Press. There we go. All right, and I'll clean this off. And we'll do just like always, I'll clean the pen off in between. Let me get the box out of the way. There we go. Okay. So far, this is how it looks. And I'm just going to set it aside to finish drying while we do the other swatches. So I do my swatches on regular copy paper and also on HP 32 copy paper and then Tomo River paper. So we'll start with the copy paper. And if there are any other colors or ink brands or types that you'd like to see me review, or any little gadgets or anything, if I can get them, then I will review them for you. All right, so I'm just going to mix this up again. All right, let's go ahead and start with the little swirls. And these swatches here. I find that on copy paper, typically, the shimmer inks do pretty well because even if they don't show off any other ink properties, the shimmers will usually rise to the top anyway and you can see them. Might help if I actually finish the letter. Sometimes my mind skips ahead and wants to get to the next letter. It gets impatient. All right, clean that off. Let's see. Okay, the shimmers are coming up. That looks really, really pretty. This is a really like a kind of a muted, moody purple. Very, very pretty. I'm going to set that aside and we'll go to the HP 32. And then at the end, we'll check all of them together and see how everything looks. All right. We got to stir this up again. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'll dip this in here. And of course, this HP 32 paper always feels so much smoother than regular copy paper. And I just went off the edge of the card. Oh well. I know most people probably are not using copy paper when they write with their fountain pens. But the reason I do this is because some people like me didn't realize that the paper would make a difference. So I couldn't figure out why my inks always look terrible compared to the pictures. All right, this is HP 32. I'm also going to try some slow lines and see if we get any shading to come out in just the regular lines here. There we go. Okay. All right, we can take a look at this. It's probably not fully dry yet, but yeah, this is really, really pretty. And I like the cool toned shimmer on this. I noticed a lot of purples, if they have shimmer, they'll have a gold shimmer. And I thought this looked really, really different. Not only is the purple a little bit more like muted and understated, but also the shimmers are a cool tone, which I think really complements it nicely. All right, let's stir this up again. And I'll give you another look at this. Let's see if you can see, whoops. See if you can see what I'm looking at here. Okay, let me just turn that off. And the one that I got here is rechargeable. So instead of having a cord in my way, I can just plug this in and charge it up. And then whenever I need to use it, I unplug it and I can use it. So it ends up being cordless when you're not charging it, which is really, really nice. And it just this one uses a regular, the C charger, whatever it's called. Now that I'm trying to think of it, I can't think of it, but you know what I'm talking about. It's a pretty common charger. So it's not a proprietary cord or anything like that. Okay, this is Toma River paper. And I may not be pronouncing that correctly. I've heard people pronounce that all different kinds of ways. I don't know which one is correct, but there we go. Let me rinse this off. And then we'll look at the swatches and also look at the swatch card because that's looking pretty good from what I can see over here. All right, let's just plop the lid back on here. And I'll just have to remember that this one already has a little magnet in it. And we'll put this back in its box for safekeeping. I like to store mine in the boxes because I like the artwork and it also protects them from the light. But I like having the bottles out when I write with them because the bottles are so pretty. They're a decoration by themselves. And I was thinking, since this, right around now we're getting close to Christmas time, those empty bottles, once the ink is used up, we could fill them with glitter or whatever and make them into Christmas ornaments. So that might be a fun project in the future if I ever actually use up a full bottle. The problem with things that are this beautiful and precious is sometimes they become too precious and we don't want to use them. Okay. This is the copy paper. Actually, this looks really good on the copy paper. There's very little difference between the copy paper and the HP 32 other than the shading and the writing. But the two splotches here in real life look very, very close. The writing looks very close. I'm not seeing any feathering. So even on the copy paper, this would be a beautiful ink to use. There is some shading actually on this copy paper here on the downstrokes. There's quite a bit of shading actually. So this is a really good one. Yeah, between this and the HP 32, very little difference. Yeah, I would say this is the perfect ink if you just want to throw it in a pen and use it anywhere and not worry about the paper. And then here's the Tomoe River. This little spot here is still a little damp. I'd say the only difference is that there's a little bit more shading. And then these splotches where they are drying, the shading again is more dramatic. So this looks beautiful on this paper, but on these two papers, the appearance is almost the same. So you could use this on anything. It just depends on what you're going for. I think this would be a very good ink to use on anything. Here is the swatch that we made. Look how beautifully that dried. You can see the shading, all that shimmery, beautiful. It's so pretty. This is a beautiful color. So if you want a more muted purple, this would be a very good one to get. I think they still have it. Some of these inks, I noticed they sell out and then they bring them back and then they sell out and some they bring them back and I don't know. Okay, this looks like it's dry now. Yeah, this is such a pretty color. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully you enjoyed our little experiment. If there are any other little gadgets or colors, inks, or whatever you'd like to see me try, let me know in the comments. And if I can get them, I will. Any comments you'd like to leave, I'd like to read and respond to. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a like and subscribe and to see more. And thank you for watching. You have a great day.